It's Tuesday, April 1. In the headlines, National Water Commission extends amnesty program. In business news, we discuss the women's fair pay issue, plus we have our usual updates on the financial market. Regionally, St. Lucia's investment minister responds to new European Union's CBI rules. And in sports, cricket news, Craig Brathwaite steps down as Test captain. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The National Water Commission has extended its amnesty program for another 2 months, giving more customers a chance to clear their outstanding balances. The program, which started on January 2, has already seen over 20,000 Jamaicans applying for debt relief. With the new deadline now set for May 31, the NWC says the extension will allow more time for customers to benefit from major write-offs and reconnection waivers. Residential accounts disconnected for 6 months or more can still receive a 50% write-off once the remaining balance is paid. Plus, reconnection fees will be waived. Pensioners, PATH beneficiaries, and persons living with disabilities will also get full relief on debts older than 2 years. The NWC says the move comes in response to the high volume of queries received over the past 3 months. Customers are encouraged to take advantage of the amnesty before the new deadline. Approximately 1,200 residents of Mason Hall, St. Mary will soon have access to clean and reliable water, thanks to the completion of Phase 1 of the Mason Hall Water Supply Project, which was officially commissioned on Friday, March 28. During the commissioning ceremony held at the Mason Hall Primary and Infant School, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness praised the initiative as a flagship project in collaboration with the Government of Jamaica, the Caribbean Development Bank, and Rural Water Supply Limited. The project is expected to significantly improve water accessibility for the community, ensuring that residents have a consistent and safe water supply.
Today, we are celebrating the fulfillment of a commitment that no community in Jamaica will be left behind. That basic services like potable water should be accessible to every citizen, regardless of their geographic location. For us, it is a matter of dignity.
For his part, Minister with Responsibility for Water, Matthew Samuda, says $70 million was spent on Phase 1 of the project. He says Phase 2 will start this month.
With a further $100 million extension of the existing pipelines and some work on your lift stations to ensure that more members of Mason Hall and indeed Kidland, the place that cuts me off. Yes, Kidland who cuts me off. Yes, we are ensuring that you are in Phase 2 with the $102 million extension to the Mason Hall system that will benefit over 1,500 additional residents on top of the 1,200 residents that will benefit from this.
The minister notes that the system is part of a wider commitment that the government has made to develop rural water systems.
We are midway through rural water across budget years, so sometimes it's difficult to say which project ended when and started where. But over an 18-month period, your government, through rural water, would have invested over 1.3 billion Jamaican dollars into small rural water systems, into the extension of the utility footprint for persons who never had water before.
The National Water Commission says customers on Constant Spring Road, Halfway Tree Road, Hagley Park Road and surrounding areas in the corporate area will experience low water pressure or intermittent supply disruptions until 7 p.m. today, April 1, 2025. According to a release from the utility company, this temporary disruption is necessary to facilitate emergency repair works by the Jamaica Public Service Company at the Constant Spring Treatment Facility. Affected areas include Queensboro, Queensberry, Perkins Boulevard, Patrick City and environs, Mannings Hill Road and environs, sections of Red Hills Road, upper sections of Constant Spring Road, Constant Spring Gardens, Halfway Tree, Lady Musgrave, Manor Park, Shortwood, Whitehall Gardens, Eastwood Park Gardens, Hewenden, Havendale, Crossroads, Manor Park, Camperdown, Mannings Hill Road, Red Hills Road, Arlene Gardens, Roehampton, Calabar Mews, Zadie Gardens, State Gardens, Malines Road, and Washington Boulevard. The NWC apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates customers' understanding during this time. Jamaica is set to host the 49th regular meeting of Caricom heads of government this July. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness will take over as chairman of the regional bloc on July 1. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says key discussions will focus on trade and security. She highlighted Prime Minister Holness's call for a stronger global approach to tackling transnational crime and improving regional cooperation. She says this issue is expected to be a major part of the agenda. Meanwhile, the Caricom meeting will coincide with the International Conference on Financing for Development in Spain from June 30 to July 3. Because of this, Minister Johnson-Smith says the Caricom meeting will likely be pushed back by a week. In this week's Living Healthy report, we look at the effect of seasonal influenza vaccine programs on countries' response to a pandemic.
The next pandemic is inevitable. While we don't know what disease or when, countries need to prepare. Strong vaccination programs are one way that countries can prepare to protect their populations. We've learned from the 2009 influenza and 2020 COVID-19 pandemics that having a strong seasonal influenza vaccination program prepares countries to respond. Countries with an existing seasonal influenza vaccination program achieved faster and more efficient pandemic vaccine introduction and reached higher coverage levels during past pandemics. WHO recommends that all countries should consider implementing seasonal influenza immunization to protect their population from annual epidemics and enable pandemic preparedness. Annual influenza vaccination programs make sure that countries have the experience and resources they need to quickly vaccinate during a pandemic. This includes experience developing national policies for adult vaccination, capacities for data and monitoring, trained staff, adaptable communications and other campaign materials, and experience reaching adult populations. Annual influenza vaccination keeps priority groups like health workers, pregnant women, older adults, and people with chronic conditions from becoming severely ill, thereby keeping people out of hospital. Annual influenza vaccination also reduces the number of seasonal influenza-related deaths, particularly among older adults and people with chronic conditions. Annual influenza vaccination programs help countries save money by reducing the number of hospitalizations and health workers' sick days. Seasonal influenza vaccines can be co-administered with other vaccines, such as the COVID-19 vaccine, during health visits. Procurement of seasonal influenza vaccines each year supports pandemic preparedness by maintaining global production capacity. This can increase the global supply of pandemic vaccines. WHO has resources to support countries in developing or expanding their influenza vaccination programs. To learn more, visit the WHO Seasonal Influenza Vaccination Toolkit. We all have a role to play in preparing for the next pandemic. What can you do?
Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Companies listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange have reported a variety of activities. Jamaica Broilers Group Limited unaudited financials for the 9 months ended January 31, 2025 reports a 72% decline in 9 months net profit attributable to shareholders. Everything Fresh Limited audited financials for the 12 months ended December 31, 2024 reports a 70% decline in year-end net profit attributable to shareholders. JetCon Corporation Limited audited financials for the 12 months ended December 31, 2024 reports 12 months net loss of $74.26 million. Sterling Investments Limited audited financials for the year ended December 31, 2024 reports 40% decline in year-end net profit. With a focus of running her consulting firm focused on driving revenue for clients, BusinessWorks CEO Andrea Livingston Prince has a controversial stance to the research that women continue to under-earn men while outperforming in the space of education. And her confidence in being controversial when it comes to women's power of earning is based on a background as a seasoned project manager with expertise that spans project design, business management, export development, and financial planning. We learn more. The Planning Institute of Jamaica recently released a research to show that the state of Jamaican women are that we're higher in education and lower in salary than our male counterpart. And that has brought up a controversy in financial planning. And to talk to us about what that controversy is Andrea Livingston Prince, researcher and CEO of BusinessWorks. Andrea, what is this controversy facing women in Jamaica?
Thank you so very much, Denise, and thank you for this program and this opportunity to spread the gospel of business development. So that's not a surprise to many of us, especially for those that are that are students at the tertiary level. They're not surprised about that. What I and my team at BusinessWorks would like to see is, so what? So what? What next? What's next? There are many societies, many developed societies, which have that statistic.
But it's leading to choices with their funding and how they're planning money.
Yes.
And that's the controversy.
There's no controversy. Okay. You choose what you want to do from that point on.
Right.
Is your mindset that because your man makes less than you, it's going to, you see him as any less than you?
No, well, what we mean, Andrea, and I love this conversation, do you know that most of the persons who file bankruptcy are also women?
There you go. So what does that mean? It means that we need to know the why and then deal with the why. So again, I'm at, so what? What does that mean? And we don't research as much as we use research. So we answer the so what. So along with our clients You have that fact, right?
Yes.
You earn less than your husband, even though you're more qualified than he is. What does that mean for you? What's your next move?
Right.
You need to decide what your options are. Do you leave and go to another organization? Do you invest in a business that will give you the amount that you think you deserve? Do you migrate? What do you do? So what? So what? Do you sit and gripe about the injustice of life?
Yes.
Okay. Do you find yourself in the room with PIOJ's agents and so on, Ministry of Labor and Productivity Center and the Jamaica Services Coalition and PSOJ and Jamaica Chamber of Commerce? What do you do?
Right.
So what?
Okay.
There you go.
And there you go. So for this business report, we asked, so what? The PIOJ have put out the state of the Jamaican woman, and Andrea Livingstone Prince says, so what? Make a decision, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. For the trading period ending March 31, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Alternative energy provider Wigton Energy Limited with 15,171,675 units traded, representing 26.73% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with 5,596,987 units traded, representing 9.86% of market sales volume. Gaming and entertainment business Supreme Ventures Limited with 4,083,908 units traded, representing 7.19% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rates set by the Bank of Jamaica. On March 31, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $73.33 million purchased and US $66.98 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.27 per dollar, selling the US at $158.40 and buying the US at $157.13. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $3.44 per transaction, with selling at $110.40 and buying at $106.96. The British pound yielded Forex traders $3.16 in profit, with selling at $203.40 and buying at $200.24. For our credit report tip of the day, your bank can be a valuable partner in your financial recovery if you know how to build the right relationships. A strong financial team at your bank can provide guidance, access to resources, and personalized support to help you rebuild your credit and secure funding for future investments. For example, having a good relationship with the branch manager can help you access special programs and make it easier to secure financial assistance. Or you can sign up for a secured credit card. A secured credit card backed by a deposit can help you rebuild credit while demonstrating responsible credit usage. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, Barbados is defending its decision to host the African Export-Import Bank's regional headquarters amid growing concerns. Foreign Affairs Minister Kerry Simmons says the bank will boost trade, investment, and tourism while offering export insurance for businesses. He insists the partnership strengthens ties between Africa and the Caribbean, urging critics to embrace the opportunities it brings.
With regard to concessions, you have to look at what you are getting. You don't just give concessions on an airy-fairy basis. For the Africa Exim Bank, It should be clear by now from all that has been said that the bank is coming here to help support trade development in this country. It is coming here to help promote investment into this country and by this country into other countries. It is also here to help support insurance for businesses which are doing work across borders, or in other words, export insurance. It is here to help promote the tourism sector. And in fact, there are some substantial loan discussions taking place in Barbados right now between players in our tourism industry and the Africa Exim Bank. The African community has reached out to the Caribbean and identified the Caribbean as the sixth dimension of Africa. The diaspora is now treated as the sixth dimension of Africa. So you would have Central Africa, East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, South Africa, and the diaspora. And it is really for us now to begin to engage rather than to find ourselves in this unfortunate position where we are about to welcome folks here as major investors in this region and in this country and treat them in a way in which we create the image that they are in fact less than welcome.
Caribbean nations with citizenship by investment programs are under the microscope again as the European Union enforces stricter rules. Now, St. Lucia's investment minister is weighing in on what this could mean for the island. The details in this report.
At Monday morning's pre-cabinet press briefing, Investment Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire addressed concerns about the European Union's new CBI regulations for Caribbean nations. Speaking to the media, he explained the previous mechanisms in place and noted that the new measure is merely an additional layer of protection for the EU.
It explains that the EU will first say to a country that we have X problem, we have seen an acceleration of a certain incidence of a certain behavior or actions or whatever, and you should act on it. If the country does not act on it, the EU then will give them a period over which to solve the problem, or else they will use visa access. So the first thing, they notify you, then they serve notice on you that if you don't do something about it, they will remove visa-free access, and then if still you do nothing about it, they will remove the privilege you have of visa-free access for your nationals and citizens. So that exists.
The new visa suspension mechanism can now be triggered by a rise in serious criminal offenses linked to nationals of a country, a breakdown in the EU's external relations with that country, or a significant increase in legal arrivals, followed by irregular entry into member states.
What the EU is doing now, the EU is saying, look, we have noticed that we've recognized the possibility for people with CIP citizenships to come into the EU and seek asylum. And therefore, because they have visa-free access, they can come in, and when they are in, they will claim asylum. So we want to put measures in place. If that should happen, then we can serve notice that, look, there is an escalation in persons with CIP passports seeking asylum, if it happens, and to alert the countries to do something about it, and if they do nothing about it, then to waive visa-free access. So what the EU is doing really is to add CIP to the existing list of persons that can qualify, can be asked to, countries that can be asked to take action because their citizens are violating the rules of the EU.
Dr. Hilaire conceded the EU's concerns, acknowledging the rationale behind the action.
Ahead of the grand opening of the Marabou Tissue Culture Lab, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell is urging Grenadians not to underestimate the crucial role the lab will play in the country's food security. Speaking in light of the current trade challenges, including new tariffs, sanctions, and ongoing political conflicts, he emphasized the importance of local agricultural innovation.
If you are paying attention, and I know you are, you would appreciate that trade between countries is becoming increasingly more difficult and more challenging. Grenada is importing almost 90% of everything. And we can start with food. We need to prioritize our own stomachs by investing in things that can grow, that can swim, and that can be eaten in Grenada. The biggest existential threat to man has always been man. We cannot assume that the world will remain peaceful. We cannot assume that there will continue to be open borders. In fact, the evidence is increasingly suggesting otherwise. And so we have to ensure that we have the scientific, technical, and laboratory resources to allow us to produce or plants or seedlings or cutlets, whatever is the appropriate technical word, to make sure that we can start growing more of the food that can grow in Grenada.
In sports, we're in the creases with cricket. Cricket West Indies has announced that opening batsman Craig Brathwaite has stepped down as Test captain. The revelation came at the quarterly press conference as part of a host of announcements regarding the future of West Indies cricket.
It's a new chapter in West Indies cricket. Craig Brathwaite has officially stepped down as Test captain, having first indicated his intention to do so to Cricket West Indies president Dr. Kishore Shallow after the team's successful tour of Pakistan.
But leadership is also about knowing when to pass the baton. And I believe this is the right time for someone else to wear the cap. I've spoken with our president, Dr. Kishore Shallow, and incoming head coach, Darren Sammy. And I look forward to working with them as a committed member of the squad.
Shallow explained further about Brathwaite's decision at their quarterly press conference, while it was confirmed that a new Test captain will be announced in the coming weeks.
And he explained to me the reasons why he wanted to move on from captaincy then. Explained it's a case where he enjoys the responsibility, but he believes he could give the team more if he just focused on his batting.
There were also changes in leadership for the white ball team, as Shea Hope has been appointed as the new captain of the T20 team while maintaining his ODI captaincy. Head coach Darren Sammy, who was also present at the conference, touched on the change of leadership.
What I've seen from Shea and the qualities that he brings, both on and off the field, and the challenge to follow the data side of the game. He is the person that we believe that will take us to that next level in the quest of being that championship winning team that we look to be.
Also on the agenda was the news that Jamaica is in line to host a test match at Sabina Park between the West Indies and Australia in July, while confirming that the West Indies A team will host a series against South Africa A in St. Lucia in May and June. Adrian Nazar, TTT Sport.
We stay with cricket as Dr. Kishore Shallow and Azim Basarath will serve another term as president and vice president of Cricket West Indies following the AGM in Antigua and Barbuda on Saturday.
Despite some criticism from certain territories over their last term, West Indies cricket will see Dr. Kishore Shallow and Azim Basarath return to serve another stint in the offices of president and vice president respectively. Both administrators went unopposed and will serve a new 3-year term following Saturday's annual general meeting at the St. James Club in Antigua and Barbuda. The Vincentian Shallow received all 12 votes, while TNT's Basarath managed 8 with all 6 territories in attendance. There will be keen interest in this period in office, as it will be the start of term limits under Cricket West Indies' new implemented governance reform. The 41-year-old Shallow, who took up office in 2023, from his predecessor Ricky Skerrett, expressed his gratitude for the belief shown to him, while Basarath, the TNT Cricket Board president, pledges continued commitment and support going forward. Wayne Cunningham, TTT Sport.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.